Look at the outside of that car sitting there. That is absolutely stunning. That hemi orange with the fluorescent orange stripes, the black interior, the window louvers, that car is stunning. This car represents the epitome of that era. The wildest colors, the wildest options, wildest graphics, all come together on this 1971 Challenger tribute car. Just remember, guys, as you're looking at it in all of its glory and all of its beauty, that car was a green-on-green 73 Challenger 318 automatic car just a few years ago. And now it has transformed into an absolute masterpiece. Now I have all my bragging out of the way for how the car turned out. It's time to go on the initial road test, what we call a shakedown. All right, so we're finally at a point where we get a road test our 1971 Challenger. We've ran it inside the shop. We actually took it down and had an alignment done on it, but we used the tow truck to roll it down there and back. If everything goes good in this drive and everything is working like it should and there's no squeaks, leaks, or rattles, something weird like that, then I'm gonna get the camera team and we're gonna go out on the road, get some really nice driving footage. Now, something really cool about this car is the owner wanted a Dakota digital dash. It's a replica of the original Rally instrument cluster, but it's all digital. And is it cool? This thing, I did not realize how much research they went into this, but it fits perfectly. This thing looks, function, and for the most part appears at a glance as an original A46 Rally instrument cluster, but it's a Dakota digital. And it works with the key, it comes on, goes off with the key. When we turn the lights out in the house, you see how bright those gauges are. You could see those things at night, which one of the problems that we run into many times with these cars is they're still a little dim at night. Not this one. This looks like a brand new car would look. So just big props to Dakota Digital for a phenomenal product that, again, is right in the spirit of Mopar. It just isn't an original part. Let's just give that a fire up. We also, to point out, put in a 240 kilometer per hour, which was an option on cars that were getting exported overseas or to Canada. They had a kilometer speedometer. We put that one in this car. That car started up nice. I've ran it many times inside. We have no lights on. This part of the Dakota dash is, it'll tell you engine failure code. We got nothing. So right now we got a half tank of fuel. The car's warmed up. Great oil pressure. Clock is working. Tack is working. Let's go drive this thing. That clutch feels nice. This is a hydraulic clutch. Feels fantastic. Okay, we're gonna take a left here. Now this has got the Magnum Force power rack and pinion coil over front suspension. Nice shift. Tracking good. That feels good. Okay, the power steering feels nice. These are a lot firmer than the power steering you would have on an old integral system. A lot of times, if you remember those as a kid, you could drive those cars with one finger. You can't. Well, you could, but you have to have a pretty strong finger. Now notice when I'm moving that steering wheel and I'm giving it just a little bit of a turn, that thing's like it's on rails. It's following the road, it's following directly in proportion to what I'm doing. Go back to the 1966 Hemi Charger when I was doing a half of a turn both ways and the car was tracking straight down the road. That was the old integral system. It wasn't worn out, that's the old integral system. There's a lot of components to it that make that up. The rack and pinion is tight and fast and reactive, plus it's power, so that helps. So far, I'm not hearing any rattles and the engine sounds good. Boy, that's peppy. These things are beasts. Second gear feels fantastic. Boy, it's a crazy world when you start mixing these things together. New and old age. You got that old age super awesome look that's just timeless, but you got today's modern technology. See, and I try to tell people, you notice right now you can't see any of this stuff, but I'm actually doing probably 45 miles an hour. I'm in third gear and it's idling. I can't do anything with it. You'll never need a 6-speed with this car. These cars aren't meant to go 200 miles an hour where you need 6 gear. If you're building one, put a 5-speed in it. That's my advice. You have to cut up a lot less of the floor. It just leaves it a lot more solid for drivability and stability if you put a 5-speed in it. The vintage air is blowing ice cold right now, which is good because it's about 80 degrees out. That feels good, folks. All right. Boy, that's a nice drive. We are out of time. We've got to have this car on the trailer tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. So that means that as soon as I get back to the shop, I'm gonna grab the rest of the camera team, the audio people, and we're gonna go out and do some really cool driving footage with it. Very nice. Boy, it downshifts nice, handles nice. I'm not getting any clunks, no vibrations, not getting any resonating inside the car. The mufflers, the entire system that we put on this car, we got it from MagnaFlow, and what a nice system. All bolted in, had all the different pieces that we needed for it for the saddle. I think they call them saddle clamps. Everything came, and it is a beautiful system that bolted right in. It's just important because the mufflers that you put on and the system that you put on can't restrict all the horsepower. You just put a 700 horse engine in, you put the wrong mufflers, wrong pipes, now you're only gonna get 500 out because you throttled it down. So make the right call to the right people. And I am officially back at the shop where I am going to round up everybody, and we have the rest of the afternoon to film, and then it goes away. That also means we have to come in late tonight and buff and polish the car. Beautiful job, fantastic. Look at that little beauty going down the road. This is so cool. When was the last time you saw a 1971 Dodge Challenger RT EV2 fluorescent orange stripes on a houndstooth interior, loaded with a 707 horsepower engine and a 6-speed manual transmission? The survey is none. You haven't seen it. Just imagine that's your custom car. Graveyardmotors.com. One of the things I put up with quite a bit in social media is how we just baby our cars. So starting this season, I put these cars through the paces. You go back and you look at our Hemi Cuda. I did launch burnouts with that thing. If something's gonna bust, it's gonna bust right then. This car I even pushed harder, but it's not hard to push a 707 horsepower car. You hit the gas and it goes. This car went every which way but loose. Okay guys, well that is it. I hope you enjoyed the show. This is our season finale. Be sure and go over to our Graveyard Carz YouTube channel. Watch some of your favorite old episodes, but we're creating new content over there as well. New episodes visible in a lot of places. It'll be streaming on a lot of devices. So thank you everybody at home for watching our show for 15 years. We are the longest running show on the network. When we started out, I was told there's no way a show about one line of car is gonna take off. It's got no legs. Well, it did have legs. 15 years worth of legs. Prime time, over 250 episodes. Nobody did that. We did that. We did that because of you guys at home watching Graveyard Carz. You've really made Graveyard Carz what it is today. And we hope to continue making stuff for the next 20 years, as long as I'm vertical. Maybe after I die, I can even make some episodes. There's a lot of stuff that hit the cutting room floor that you don't want to see spray painted on an overpass, trust me. Tiny, is that?
It's accurate.
That's accurate. Thanks, guys. Hello ghouls, Mark Warman here, the Ice Tray from Graveyard Carz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey Alice!